Good morning, one and all. I'm back here once again to give you a brief introduction on Bluetooth technologies. I am Dr. M. Sharada Varalakshmi, Professor, CSE Department, St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. See, this is the common logo you all must be seeing on your mobile devices. Today we are going to discuss about this logo, what it does, how it does, where it is, what is the purpose of this Bluetooth, etc. in this session. What is Bluetooth? What are the goals of Bluetooth? Why is it introduced at all? What are the requirements of Bluetooth? Where are we using this Bluetooth? What is the architecture of Bluetooth? And how are we providing security to the Bluetooth? Yeah, Bluetooth has been introduced or has been created by these companies. Majority these days, every company is actually giving us a Bluetooth technology embedded in it. Basically, it has started with Intel, Ericsson, IBM, Motorola, Nokia, and Toshiba systems. And coming to the name of from where this Bluetooth has come. Actually, the name of Bluetooth is the name of a king of Denmark. His name is Harald Bluetooth, and people has chosen his name in the Baltic regions because of the wide communication industry in that regions. So, what are the problems of the current technology? Currently, we are using infrared data communication, which has line of sight problem and one-to-one communication problem. To avoid these, and also we have a problem of data synchronizing. Example, HOTS in a PDA, or problem of using the right cradle and right cable. So, wirelessly, how can we connect with each other and how can we transfer data from one system to another system is the solution what we are supposed to find. In finding this solution, they have introduced uh, a new technology which can overcome these problems like line of sight and one-to-one communication problems by a new technology called as Bluetooth technology. We'll see what it is, what this Bluetooth is actually. Bluetooth is a radio frequency standard which provides an agreement at the data link level itself, where products have to agree on when the bits are to be sent, how many will send at a time, how the parties which are receiving and sending need to communicate with each other. These are the three purposes what we need to look into when we are using Bluetooth technology. The basic idea of this Bluetooth is it should be a small device. It should be a cheap device which can be plugged into every computer, every printer and every mobile phone. And the chip is designed to replace the cables. Without using a cable for data transfer, wirelessly by using a technology called as Bluetooth, you can actually transfer data from one device to the other device. That is the actual technology which is behind a Bluetooth device. Okay, these devices can form a quick and ad hoc piconet. A piconet is a net within a network within 7 to 8 devices is called as a piconet. Okay, this Bluetooth uses a network called as piconet, where connections are made from one device to the other device wirelessly. A collection of devices connected via Bluetooth technology in an ad hoc fashion is called as a piconet. A piconet starts with two connected devices. First, you need to get connected from a master to the slave, and a master can get connected to 8 slaves in such a way. So at a time, a master can wirelessly send data to 8 of the other clients. Instead of saying clients, we have just used instead of saying the term client and server, here we are using master and slave. Bluetooth devices are peer units, end-to-end units, and have identical implementations. Okay, however, when establishing a piconet, one unit will act as a master and the other units which are connected to the master are called as the slaves. Yeah, you can see different varieties of systems which are connected to each other, which are having a Bluetooth chip inside to get connected to the internet within a range of access points. A notebook can be linked to an internet using a mobile phone and an access point using a mobile phone. In this way, voice and data communications can take place via a Bluetooth technology. You can see the same thing via Bluetooth. Different devices, peripheral devices like keyboard can be connected Bluetooth wirelessly to the desktop. The same way mouse can be connected wirelessly to the desktop, etc. All these are wireless links via Bluetooth, which can actually send and receive data. So when such systems are connected to each other, the network which is formed between the master and the slave is called as Piconet. Otherwise, we call it as ad hoc personal network. Piconet is nothing but a group of networks together is called as a Piconet. Ad hoc networks together is called as a Piconet. This is the general architecture of a Bluetooth. You can see RF radio frequency, the baseband, there's a link manager, the data communication, audio control, different applications which are using Bluetooth. The radio layer, as you have seen, that is the lowest layer of the Bluetooth. It defines the requirements of Bluetooth transceiver. Generally, it is the device operating is in 2.4 gigahertz in the certain ISM band. Okay, a Bluetooth can connect two devices within a range of 10 centimeters to 10 meters at the lowest range, and the highest range of 100 meters to 100 width of range of 100 meters can be achieved. Maximum of 100 meters range, it can transfer data. And this Bluetooth uses spread spectrum frequency hopping it's a packet switching protocol which is based on SSFH, that is spread spectrum frequency hopping sequence. So as you can see in the architecture, as I have shown you in the picture previously, there are different layers in the Bluetooth. The baseband layer, which defines the framing, timing, packets and flow of control of the link. It has got a link manager which is responsible for authentication and encryption. And it has got a logic link layer which handles segmentation and multiplexing, which transfers large packets of data from one to other. It has got something audio where the audio data is directly mapped to the baseband layer where the transfer of audio can take place. And all the units, every Bluetooth unit will have a global ID which is of 48 bits. Okay, this is the unit which initializes the connection as the master, which controls the traffic of the connection. A master, as I told you in the previous slide, a master can connect up to 7 slaves. That is, including the master, only 8 can get connected to each other. Only 8 devices can get connected to each other and can transfer data from each other. Okay, a master at a time, only one master will be active at a time. Only that master can send data to other slaves. And once the data transfer is over from the masters can become slaves and the slaves can become masters. And device can be a master only in one Piconet. That is, only for 7 slaves you can become a master. Once your data is transferred, you can come to a standby location and the other will be a master if he wants to transfer the device data. As you can see, this is A and B, 2 Piconets are there, where data from one master of one Piconet can send data to another slave of another Piconet. But in one Piconet, only one master at a time is possible. Okay, a forming of a Piconet. Here, when a Piconet is formed, there are 2 parameters which come into existence. One is hopping pattern and the other one is phase within the hopping or phase within the pattern. Okay, and a hopping pattern of the radio which it wishes to connect, to which system it is getting connected, is called as hopping pattern. How a Piconet is formed is called as a hopping pattern. And within what pattern and the clock offset, how much time each master or slave can be connected to each other. There is a clock offset attached with every Bluetooth device. The time or the clock offset shows the number of hops of the master. And also every master or every slave will have a global ID which defines the hopping pattern. And once data is starts its transferring, the master shares its global ID and all the slaves will have to get connected to the master based on the global ID. You'll have to, I think most of you must have already used this Bluetooth technology. Whenever you become a master and you want to send some audio files or video files to your friends, what happens? Firstly, what you send them, you send your ID. or your phone name or something will be received by the other person once the Bluetooth is on. It starts searching for all the devices which are on, Bluetooth on around it, around your master. Once it locates, it sends its global ID to the opposite slave, whoever has recognized your device. Once that person accepts your ID, only then the communication establishes. The global ID and the clock parameters are exchanged within a frequency hopping synchronization. Both should be synchronized. That is the reason every device is having a clock along with it. And device not connected to a Piconet are in the standby mode. Okay, whenever there is no, in the Piconet, if a device is not connected, they also want to access your data, or they also want to receive your data, or from the master they want to receive the data. Already there are 7 in the network. So the 8th one will have to wait till all at least one of these 7 completes its receival of data. So this 8th one is called as a standby mode. A connection is made either by a page command if the address is known, or by inquiry command followed by a page command. So first what happens when a radio sends an inquire command, all the radios responds with their frequency hopping spectrum packets. Okay, first one inquiry will send, as I told you just now an example. Suppose you want to get transfer your video data to your friend. So what is happening? That friend is not in a standby mode. He is the only person you want to send. So firstly an inquiry is sent where the hopping patterns should be matched to both of you. Only then the packets will be released from the master to the slave. Okay, all listening radios perform a page scan or an inquiry scan. Page scan, we generally call it as inquiry scan for every 1.25. It keeps on sending a message every 1.25 seconds, checking whether any of the standbys want to come into a Piconet, or if at all the data of the actual network is completed, they go into a standby set. Here you can see the blue ones are the Bluetooth devices in proximity to each other. Every Bluetooth device is attached with a clock, because for every 1.25 seconds it should keep on sending its inquiry to the nearby locations, and every Bluetooth will have an unique ID, its own ID, global ID we call it as. You can see here M has become a master, a blue color M has become a master, and S has a slave, SB is the standby, and P is the parked. Once the standby is over, then the parked will come into standby, standby will become a slave. Once this slave is over, next device which is in SB will come into slave, and the other device will go into parked location. When a radio, generally when a radio joins a Piconet, it is assigned a 3-bit, every radio will be assigned a active member address. One address will be given, and that address will be either in a Bluetooth device. One is the master, the other one is the slave, one is a standby mode, and the other one is a parked mode. So once the Piconet has 8 radios, the master puts a radio into a park mode. Once all the 8 are over, as I told you in the previous slide, what happens? It goes to the standby. Once standby data is also received, then it will go into a parked mode. So every of this device member is given an active member address, AMA. Once the sharing is over, it releases the AMA and it gives a passive member address. Once the transfer of bits is over, then it removes the active member address and gives it a passive member address. The freed AMA is given to the other device which is willing to join in the Piconet. So in this way, 256 radios can actively reside on a Piconet, but only 8 of them will have active member addresses. That is, 256 can be in that particular Piconet, which may be either a slave or a standby or parked. But at a time, only 8 can exchange their data or transfer data from each other. Once a radio joins the Piconet and has an AMA, it can direct data to other devices on the Piconet. So, we should understand here, to achieve a connection in a Bluetooth, you should either be in a parked mode or in a standby mode, or standby or hold. both are same. Parked mode, hold mode, or a slave mode. So as you can see, hold mode is when data needs to be transmitted very infrequently, thus conserving power. In this mode, only an internal timer is running. No data is transferred in the hold mode. The master can finish its transfer of data to the slaves and then bring the data on the hold mode to the slave mode. And the other one is a sniff mode or the slave mode. This is a slave, the device listens to the piconet at a reduced rate. The sniff interval is programmable. In both of this, hold mode and sniff mode, the AMA address, active member address is given. But remember that active member address is only given to 8 slaves of the master of the piconet. Yeah, this is generally, you can see in this diagram, some of them are in the park mode, which are otherwise called, which has only low power states. The slaves are in the active states, and standby mode are unconnected. So whenever the slave comes out, the standby mode comes into picture, and the standby mode always keeps on inquiring whether the slave has completed its transfer of data or not. Once in this inquiry, every 1.25 seconds, the inquiry keeps on going. Once the one of the slaves goes back, the standby device comes into a piconet, as you can see in this diagram. Just observe it. Okay, there are two types of links and packets in this Bluetooth. One is synchronous connection oriented, otherwise we call it as SCO, and the other one is asynchronous connection oriented. A synchronous connection oriented is a point-to-point and full duplex link. It is typically used only for voice data. Okay, these packets do not have any checksum error and are not retransmitted only once the transmission takes place. And the other method is asynchronous connectionless type, which is used for switched between the master and slave, which is used for all other video files and all are always in asynchronous connectionless. Here you have a forward error connection and automatic repeat request scheme also. Whereas in synchronous mode, we don't have CRC. Here we have a error correction and also repeat request. Suppose there is a connection, there is a problem in the connection or break in the connection. Always there is a repeat request of the connection. Next we'll see about the security provided in the Bluetooth. As you know, the security layer, the data link layer is responsible for this security. It provides authentication and encryption by the link manager. The pin is translated. Every encryption key, 128-bit pin is linked with the encryption key. After authentication, only the radios will settle on a suitable length encryption key and get transferred. Generally, the Bluetooth relies on this pin. As you can see, encryption key, you can see from the top, a pin is there. The pin is attached to the 128-bit link key, and then along with the pin and the link key, the data is encrypted. The data is transferred to the other device to a temporary storage, and you can see here user input, again a pin of 128-bit key. Both the pin and the 128-bit become the link key, and that is integrated to the encryption key. This is how encryption is taken place. Bluetooth relies on the pin, only the pin code, to establish trusted relationship between the devices. And so guys, generally we have seen what Bluetooth is, how a Bluetooth generally works, and what are the advantages of Bluetooth, characteristics of the Bluetooth, how synchronization takes place in a Bluetooth, and the security parameters of 128-bit link key used for authentication and encryption in Bluetooth. Hope you all understood this session and enjoyed the session. Thank you very much. Bye.